Hello, Bonnie, and hello to our school in West Virginia. I'm Ranger Dave, and I'm a park ranger here at Channel Islands National Park, coming to you live from Anacapa Island. And we have two very special schools joining us today for Channel Islands Live. And so I'd love to hear a big shout out, one at a time from each school. We're going to start almost all the way across the country. We're joined by the students at Creed Collins Elementary in Pennsboro, West Virginia. So let me hear a big shout out hello from all of you. All right. We're so glad you're joining us today. And we also have in Ventura, California, at our Park Visitor Center Auditorium, Blanche Reynolds Elementary School. So let me hear a big shout out hello from all of you. Okay, and we're going to have a real special day. It's a beautiful day here. As I mentioned, I'm on an island. I'm on a little 1 square mile volcanic rock island surrounded completely by ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And this is one of 5 islands that make up Channel Islands National Park. And it's not just the islands, but also the ocean surrounding the islands out to part of this national park. And so I have a question, and I'm going to ask each school to give me one student to answer this question to start off our program, the habitat itself. And to our students in West Virginia, do you have any other reason why we have national parks, or maybe even you think it's the same reason?
We like to have picnics and camps and stuff.
We're also park rangers, and park rangers have many different jobs within that bigger job of being a park ranger. And so one of them they both tie into those answers as to why we have national parks. And so let's go back to Ventura and let's see if someone has an answer as to what is it that you think a ranger does for their job. What do I do for my job?
You help the animals stay healthy.
Right, so helping the animals stay healthy ties into protecting the environment and the habitat. And to one of our students in West Virginia, can you think of another kind of a job a ranger might have? There are all kinds of different ranger jobs.
Right here. Come here, talk on this. Tell him what a ranger does.
Rangers help the animals.
That's right. We help the animals, and not only the animals, but we also help to protect the people, all of us who come to national parks, the people who come here to go camping and to go hiking and to do all of those things. One of the most important jobs a ranger does is to protect the people who come here, and not just all of you, but it's my job because I work in the wilderness to protect myself too. I need to make sure that I don't get hurt or fall into any danger. And so there are a lot of tools that rangers like myself use to accomplish our jobs, to do our jobs. And so we're going to start the first half of this program by talking about some of the tools and the things rangers use to protect people in the national parks, and also to help people to enjoy the national parks as much as they can. And then we'll see a little bit more about some other kinds of ranger jobs, maybe some of those jobs that help to protect the environment and the animals. We all overlap a little bit, but one of my important tools is right here on my back. It's my ranger backpack, and we actually have a very special one that even has our national park symbol, this arrowhead. Whenever you go to a national park, you'll see this and on ranger uniforms. We really like this symbol. We even put it on our backpacks. So today, I'm going to play a little game with you. We'll call it Stump the Ranger. So in my backpack are all kinds of tools, and I'm going to have my cameraman pan over a little.
Here, Joe. What kind of tools in his bag?
Bobby Keister to the office with his things together?
Tell him what kind of tool you think's in his backpack.
Some water when you get first
Some,
aid.
some water, yeah. Probably the most important thing. If we don't have water, we're in trouble out here, especially on a hot day like today. So I do have a water bottle, and I use this kind of water bottle because it's reusable. So I'm also helping to protect the environment by not using a throwaway plastic bottle. And as a ranger, I usually don't just carry a little bit of water for myself, but I carry extra water because if I'm out hiking on a trail, I might come across somebody who's visiting the park who didn't bring enough water. And so I can help them and injury, dehydration. So that's one good answer. Bonnie in Ventura, do we have another guess from someone in your audience as to another thing that I might use for my job?
Food?
Food build up long term and cause real problems for me. And also, again, I might come across a visitor who doesn't have sunscreen, who needs it. So I made sure I brought sunscreen. This makes my mom happy. So there are all kinds of other tools. Can anyone in Ventura, Bonnie, think of something else I might use to protect myself from the sun?
A couple of hats.
A couple hats. I have this hat, and I have this hat, and they're different hats that I would use for different purposes. I wear this hat if I'm on a hike, and I wear this hat if I'm doing a program. So I have a couple of hats. And let me show you something else that I use for protection that I hope all of you use when you go outside on a sunny day, because it can get really bright. So of course, I have sunglasses.
Wow.
Do you guys wear sunglasses when you go outside on a sunny day? That's right. Now, of course, you all know that these are probably not my real sunglasses. How many of you think these are my real sunglasses? Nobody. How many of you think these are just fun ones that I use for... Everybody shout out. Yeah. These are not my real sunglasses. My real sunglasses are much bigger and more colorful. So these are just props. So little humor in the program. So Bonnie, we'll go back to Ventura now. Let's have maybe a few more guesses as to other things. I have lots of more stuff and lots more things in my pack.
It's not our turn yet.
First aid kit.
First aid kit. So what if somebody got hurt, or what if I got hurt? So I do have training in how to help people in first aid. And so I always carry a first aid kit with me. So this is important as well. And so you can see ranger jobs often involve protecting people and taking care of people if they have a problem or get hurt, and taking care of myself. There are things that I also use to help people enjoy the park more. And does anyone in West Virginia have any idea of what things would I use to help people have a better time or get more out of their trip at a national park?
Map.
A map, yeah. Let's see if I have a map. Ooh, I do have a map. And this is a map of the Channel Islands. I actually have a lot of different maps. This one shows, it's a little windy so it's hard to tell, but it shows all the islands. And we're right now, right over here on Anacapa Island. And then I also have maps of just Anacapa Island that will show the trails and where things are. So a map is important. And this map is also our park brochure. And it has all kinds of information that people can read about when they come out here. And so sometimes I'll share information. I'm going to fold this up because the wind is starting to take it away. But I can share information and help people learn about the parks too, kind of like what we're doing today. So we're also, as park rangers, we're teachers and educators. And along that same line, I have a book here. This is called a field guide, and this one is about birds. And so this has all kinds of information about all the different birds found not only on Anacapa Island, but all over the country, really, because sometimes people might ask me a question and it's not even about the birds or the animals on Anacapa, and I like to be as helpful as I can. So rangers are your friends. We always try to be helpful. But the bird book leads us into another aspect of being a ranger. So what other kinds of jobs, besides being a ranger that helps people and protects things, do you think there are other kinds of jobs, maybe jobs relating to birds, for instance, or to science that rangers also do? Just a big shout out, yes or no, if you think we do that also, from both classes. Yes. So a lot of people dress like me in national parks. There are all kinds of people that wear this same uniform, but we have many different jobs. If you remember, I said that I'm on an island. And so to get here today, my cameraman Josh and I had to get on a boat and ride on a boat 14 miles today across the ocean to get to Anacapa Island. So we have park rangers in Channel Islands National Park whose jobs are to drive a boat and to be a boat captain. And you wouldn't always think of that as being a park ranger, but it is a ranger job. And so there are lots of different things you can do. Science is a big part of national parks. One of our reasons for being a national park, as we discussed, and some of you have said, is to protect the environment and the plants and the animals. And so what is one really important way? Let's see if someone gets this. This is maybe a little bit of a more narrow focused and difficult question, but if you want to protect something, what do you have to do in order to protect it? So there are different answers to this. Let's go to West Virginia and see if we have a good answer.
Oh my gosh.
What do scientists need to do in order to help protect the animals?
They're probably gonna come.
And Bonnie, are you there in Ventura? I think we might have lost our feed to West Virginia.
We're here in Ventura.
Okay, let's go to you in West Virginia. I'm hoping that you can still hear us and watch us passively, and maybe somehow we can reconnect. But to our students at Blatch Reynolds, let's let you answer that question. What do you think are some of the things that scientists, ranger scientists, need to do in order to help protect the animals?
Dave, I'll go ahead and ask one of our students right now.
Okay, thank you.
Fossils.
And was that answer fossils?
Yes.
Yeah, so studying fossils would be one way. In fact, I'm going to have Josh, why don't we move the camera here? I'm going to show you a few different things that are science projects here at Channel Islands National Park, and use that as a way to explain to you some of the ranger jobs that involve helping the environment and revolve around science. And so one is dealing with plants. So on the island and in this national park, and in most national parks, there are some plants that are naturally occurring in that area, and there are some plants that are introduced and take over the territory that don't really belong here. And this is one of those plants. This is called ice plant, and it actually comes from another part of the world, South Africa, and it has invaded Anacapa Island and is choking out other plants. And so one of the things we do is we remove these kinds of plants and we plant native plants in their place. So this is one of the jobs. You might be a park ranger, but your job is to make sure that the plant life is healthy. And so you'll study plants, research them, learn about which plants are good for the environment here and which ones don't belong as part of this environment, and then help to restore the native habitat by removing the non-native plants and planting native plants. So that's one of the ways. There's also another way. Josh, why don't we give a shot of all the birds here in the background? And Bonnie, let me know when you have a nice view of all these birds. Are you seeing the seagulls?
We see
Okay.
the seagulls.
Okay, and let's just do a quick check. West Virginia, are you back with us by any chance? I think we've lost their feed, so I'm hoping you guys are still watching. So seagulls are part of the natural environment here. In fact, this is a very important habitat for them because this is a place where they have their nests and where they breed. And so have any of you seen a seagull nest at the beach? You have? Probably not a sea. You're back in West Virginia? Oh, great.
No,
were you able to hear us? Were you able to hear us while you were gone?
We're here in Ventura. Only
Okay.
Ventura.
No West Virginia? Okay.
No West Virginia.
I thought we had West Virginia back. Anyway, so the seagulls nest out here. And Josh, let's pan down. We'll show you an actual seagull nest because this is the time of year where they lay their eggs. And so Josh is going to slowly move the camera. And Bonnie, let us know when the camera focuses in on these eggs. Do you guys see that?
We see the eggs.
And so now
Yes.
you can see a seagull egg. And national parks like Anacapa are very important for being protected places for animals to reproduce. And so if this nest was on the mainland, it would be disturbed by people and other animals. But out here on Anacapa, it's protected. Now, that's not a real nest, actually, because we wouldn't want to disturb a real nest. So these are replica eggs that look just like the real ones. And if you were to come out to Anacapa, you can actually see real bird nests, real gull nests, and see the chicks hatching soon. And so one of the ranger jobs, Josh, you can go ahead and pan up, is to help protect the seagulls, but also to study and learn about them. And one of the ways that we can learn about how healthy the seagull populations are is by monitoring these nests. And so I have another kind of a hat that I wear if I were doing that job. And this is a hard hat, still has our arrowhead. We like our arrowhead. And the reason I would wear this, why do you think I would take off this hat and put on this hat if I were working in a gull nesting colony? Anybody have a guess?
Because you work.
Because I work, but why would I want this hat, not this hat, when I'm working with nesting seagulls?
So they won't scratch on your head.
That's right, because if this was a real nest, the mom and the dad would not be very happy about me being there. So I would only be at the nest for as short amount of time as I needed to be there. I would be very careful to not hurt anything, but while I was there, I would probably want to protect my head because that mom and dad seagull might come down and try to hit me in the head with their feet. And so protection, again, is a key thing for a ranger. But I have other tools that I would use in that research, and this is a scale. And so I might weigh the egg with this, or when the chicks are born, I might weigh the chicks. I would use a little sling to hold them. I wouldn't hook it right to the chick. And then I might put a band, like a little bracelet, around their leg and use this tool to hook on the bracelet. And that way we could give each chick a number and we could come back and learn about those chicks. And you know what? Sometimes those birds will grow and live for 20 years and we'll still be able to tell which bird that was and how long it survives and how healthy it is because we banded it and weighed it when it was a little chick. So that's a ranger job, being a seabird researcher at the Channel Islands. And this is where almost all the seabirds, if you see a seagull or a western gull they're called at the beach in Ventura, it was hatched almost certainly right here on Anacapa Island and right around this time of year. Now, there aren't just birds on Anacapa. How many of you think there are lots of animals? We're at a national park on Anacapa. Shout out if you think there are all kinds of animals here. Guess what? That was a trick question because you would think there's a lot of animals in the national park, and certainly in a lot of national parks there are, and in this national park there are, but they're mostly in the water because the waters around this park that are part of it are very rich with life. But the islands themselves, because we're isolated by the ocean, we don't have a lot of different types of animals out here. The seagulls can fly here, but imagine if you were, let's say, a coyote or a raccoon. That's a long way to swim to get out to an island. So on Anacapa Island, there's only one kind of mammal, animal with fur, that lives on the land here on Anacapa, and it's a little mouse. And so, Josh, let's move over here, and I'm going to go kind of slow so Josh can follow me on this, and we'll see if we can show you a little bit more about what rangers do with the animals on the island. I don't know if this will work that well. Can we zoom in? Bonnie, let me know if you're getting a good shot. This is the Anacapa Island deer mouse.
We can
Are you
see
seeing
it.
that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the only native land mammal on this entire island. There are no gophers, skunks, foxes. There are no pigs. There's no dogs. There's no cats. There's no anything but mice for mammals. We have some lizards, some reptiles, things like that, but very few animals compared to where you are, just a short distance away. And that's because we're isolated. This mouse, though, this type of mouse in the entire world is only on Anacapa Island. You'll never see an Anacapa deer mouse, unless it, I guess, sneaks on the boat and rides back on the mainland. So this is the only place in the world they have to call their home. And so we want to protect the Anacapa deer mouse. And one of the ways we do that, it might seem kind of funny, but we use traps, and we'll trap mice, but these don't hurt them. It's just a box they go into to get the bait, and then the door closes, and the ranger scientists can come in and open the door and take the mouse out, and they can put a band on it using this pliers as well. They're very tiny bands because they're very tiny animals with little legs. And so on this strip, there are probably 10 or 12 bands, each one with a different number. And this is a way that we can tag the mice and study them from year to year to also help ensure that they have healthy populations on the islands. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and we'll work our way back up. And so you've seen now a few of the different types of science jobs that rangers can perform. We've even seen how some rangers drive boats, and we've seen certainly how really every ranger is involved in protecting the environment and the people that come here and ourselves. And so you can see there are all kinds of different ranger jobs. How many of you think that being a park ranger would be a fun job and a good job to do? One person? Shout out if you think being a park ranger is a fun job. Okay, we have a few of you. And so if you want to be a park ranger, you don't need to wait until you're old like Josh and I. You can actually become a junior ranger right now. And so we have a workbook that helps teach you all about Channel Islands National Park. And if you fill that out, you learn about the park and you learn about how to help protect it, because you also can help protect the environment. And then you get a Junior Ranger badge, which is very much like the badge that we wear. And you'll be a part of the National Park Service. You won't have to be here at 8 o'clock every morning, clean the bathrooms, any of that kind of stuff. You just get to do the fun things. But it's a way to become involved and to become a part of Channel Islands National Park. And other national parks have Junior Ranger badges and books for their parks as well. So as you travel around the country and you go to national parks, this is a really fun thing to do, and to collect as many of these badges as you can. So we've learned a lot today, and you've gotten to see Anacapa Island, and we've talked about how this is a national park. So I want to ask you a question as we get near the close here. Who do you think national parks, Anacapa Island, Channel Islands, all the national parks, who do you think they belong to? So Bonnie, let's see if we have a couple answers.
For the people of the world who went to see the islands.
Yeah, for the people of the world. Actually, that's the answer that sums it all up. They belong to everybody. They belong to you. They belong to me. They belong to your parents. They belong to all of us. So this is your national park. It's not my national park, but a little bit of it is because I'm part of everybody. And so we all know that when we have something that's ours, if we take care of it, it will last longer. It will be in better shape. It will always be there for us to enjoy, not just now, but for the future as well, for your kids and their kids and their kids. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today and being a part of this and interacting with us. And as we leave, I'm going to ask you to do one thing as potential future junior rangers and then maybe eventually park rangers. Turn to the person next to you and see if you can think of and tell them one thing that you can do to help protect national parks. So go ahead, everybody.
It's one thing.
Okay, and I can hear all kinds of different answers. And I'll bet it's a lot of what we started with. It's to help protect the animals and plants and to help protect the people and to help the people enjoy themselves. And that's what rangers do. And I'm glad that you have been a part of this today. Thank you guys. West Virginia, I hope you're watching still. And I'm sorry we aren't interacting with you on the second half. But thank you guys for joining us at Channel Islands National Park for Channel Islands Live. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, West Virginia.